Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on SoundCloud and YouTube, and now you can find it on TuneIn, which is really exciting for me. I got accepted into that a couple of days ago. So yeah, that was really wonderful news. So today my guest is Laura Gariepy. Sorry.
That was good.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and Laura's going to be talking to us about freelancing, and her business is called Before You Go Freelance, which is part of a larger business called Every Day by the Lake. And she writes freelance content that helps business owners stay top of mind with their target audience, which is something that we all need to do. I am terrible at content creation. She is also a business coach to new and aspiring freelancers and runs an online resource hub for freelancers called Before You Go Freelance. Welcome, Laura, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Rose. I'm excited to be here and I appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about why you want to help people write content.
Well, I want to help. Do you mean like business owners or other people who want to go freelance?
Oh, either.
Okay. Well, I want to help business owners with their content needs because I know how important it is for them to stay top of mind with their audience. The internet moves so fast. If you're not putting yourself out there continuously, consistently, putting out good quality content, you're going to lose people. They're going to forget about you. They're going to move on to the next. Unfortunately, it's just noisy out there. And so I try to take that off of their plate because I know they're busy trying to grow their business. As a business owner myself, I know exactly how that is. You know, sometimes I struggle to put out content for my own business because I'm writing content for other people's businesses. So it's a little meta there, I guess. But I really enjoy doing that because I know it helps them take care of a necessary task and then frees them up to do other things that they need to do. So it's gratifying. On the flip side, I really enjoy helping other people go from professionals in an office 9 to 5 type of arrangement to becoming freelancers, because freelancing has done so much for me and my life that I love to see it take shape in other people's lives as well.
Yeah. So what is the secret to creating great content?
The secret is being conversational and really meeting your audience where they are. You have to know what they need, how they talk, how they think, what their pain points are, their problems are, their questions are, and then create content that speaks to that.
Yep. So how do you, I guess a lot of people have written maybe a blog or something on their Facebook profile or their page or whatever, LinkedIn perhaps. How do they repurpose that?
Well, you know, the search engines frown upon copying and pasting, so you really can't duplicate it exactly, but you can have recurring themes. So if you write a blog post, then maybe you can take little snippets of it out and put it on your social media channels. If you record a YouTube video like we're doing right now, you could rip the audio and upload it to, different podcast platforms. So now you've got multiple pieces of content there. So I think as long as you're not completely duplicating the content and you're putting something else to it, repackaging it in some way, it's a brilliant idea to do that. It creates less work for you.
Yeah, that is great advice, because I know from my own personal experience that when I have a challenge with writing content, I actually go back to other things that I've either written or previous posts or whatever, because I have been published in one of the local, not local as in the city, but national website where I've put articles in there, and I often forget to go back to those and pull bits out. Pull bits out of it to repurpose. So yeah, that is great. Okay, so tell me how specifically your business I mean, I know you've touched on it, but how specifically does your business help other business owners to get their content out there so that they can be front of mind to their audience?
So I start with a consultation with them. I want to get to know their business, their customers, their goals, so that way I can create content that's meaningful for their audience. And so we collaborate to define the topics that they want to cover. Sometimes they ask me for suggestions, sometimes they have them, sometimes we kind of brainstorm together, and then I just start tackling those topics one by one. Once I have a draft, I present it to them, and if they like it, I'll publish it for them, or they could take the draft and publish it themselves. So it's really kind of an open process. I mean, there is some definition to it, but it varies from client to client because it should. You know, when you're a service provider, you have to cater to their needs and how they want to work, while retaining some boundaries that you need to for yourself. But in general, it's really good to make sure that your services are tailored to the individual client.
Yeah, so, and you've said that you like to help professionals to go freelance and become self-employed. So how does one do that if they're doing the 9 to 5 thing and, they want to go and do it by themselves?
So there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could save up a large nest egg and then quit your job, to focus on freelancing full time from the get-go. I mean, obviously that's going to require a pretty substantial pool of funds. You want to make sure that you're covered for several months, maybe even up to a year, to give you enough time to get your business off the ground. But the other way to do it is to build it alongside your 9 to 5, which I think is what a lot of people end up doing. And essentially, you just take a client or two on, and you do that, and then you keep adding to that book of business until you reach the point financially where you no longer need your 9 to 5 income. You need to know that number. You need to know how much your required expenses are every month, how much you'd like to have for more discretionary purchases, and then you need to figure out, okay, how much do I need to make freelancing to feel comfortable to leave my job? And then I'd certainly recommend having a nest egg on top of that, so that if you do have a lean month freelancing, which will happen at some point or another, you can rely on your savings rather than having to, get super stressed out and rely on credit cards or loans or things of that nature.
Yeah. So what are the benefits of companies using a freelancer?
They're numerous, really. So when you hire a freelancer, you can get someone that's highly specialized. They're good for one-off projects. If you don't want to hire someone long-term, if your task is only going to take a couple of months, it doesn't make sense to onboard a full-time employee. Companies save on benefits, on taxes. There's a lot of upside to companies working with freelancers, even on a long-term basis, just because of those cost savings that they have, without having to classify them as a full employee.
Yeah. So I guess rather than, and maybe we might make this a little bit broader about and not about just content creation, but what other things can freelancers, or what types of freelancers are there that could benefit a business?
Oh, geez. I mean, there's a freelancer for just about anything. You have writing, graphic design, web development, social media, video content creators, photography. You have freelance business consultants, which could focus on a range of different things, freelance accountants, freelance marketers. Pretty much every element of a business can be covered by a freelancer.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what this, if that a freelancer is the same as a virtual assistant. Is that sort of the same thing, or?
Yeah, that falls under that for sure. You could probably work as an administrative assistant remotely on a full-time employee basis for a company, but often when you see the term virtual assistant, it does imply freelancer. Okay.
Yep. I just wanted to clear that up because the terminologies may be different in different countries. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up for you, or for our listeners. So tell me a little bit more about what else a freelancer can offer a business that is, of benefit to them, other than, the content creation. And you did, we touched on the other things that you can do, but what other benefits do you think that you can offer another business at any time?
I think, are you referring to me personally or freelancers in general? Or?
Well, both. We could touch on both of them.
Okay. In addition to actually creating the content, I can advise clients as to the types of content that they should be putting out there. It can be more of a strategic type of role, not just executing on creating that content. Certainly, I can share what I've learned in terms of building my own digital business, because sometimes the companies that I work with don't really have a solid understanding of what that entails. And certainly, while I'm always learning and growing myself, I can pass on what I've acquired to date, so I can help them in that way. And I think freelancers in general can play consultant to their clients, no matter what actual end product that they're providing to them, because they have expertise that the client doesn't have, or they take on tasks that the client doesn't want to do. So the freelancer should absolutely use their knowledge and expertise to the client's benefit, even if it's not directly related to the end product.
Yep. Okay. So I guess going maybe the consultancy road. In what ways can a freelancer, advise a business owner to, do something better, or without sounding like they're a know-all, or putting themselves out there and getting their head chopped off, basically?
Well, I think it's all about the relationship you have with each client. So, I think that's true of anything that happens within that professional relationship. So if you have a really good rapport with them, they're likely going to be more receptive of constructive criticism or suggestions. And I think you just be honest with them, and you kind of look back on the exchanges you've had in the past, and you think about the language that you use with that client, and you just frame it using the information that you have. And sometimes they may not take it well, and you have to be prepared for that. But I think often, if you're coming from a place of genuinely wanting to help them, it's going to be taken pretty well.
Yeah. So I say, what lessons or things have you learned becoming a freelancer, in your journey to starting your own business?
Oh, geez, I could write a book, but I think
you should do.
It's on the to-do list for sure. But I think, the number one thing I've learned is that business is all about collaboration. I don't see other freelancers as competition necessarily. I think we're all in this together to a degree. And the sooner that you can build up a really good network around you, the sooner you're going to be successful, because there's always some way that you can help someone and some way that someone else can help you. So the more possibilities you have of that on both ends of the exchange, the better off you're going to be, and the better off the people are going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when you started out, did you often give your services for free, or did you charge first up?
Well, I kind of fell into freelance writing by accident. So when I quit my full-time job, I didn't have a clear plan, but I started a blog because it seemed like the right thing to do. So, obviously my initial blog posts were for free in that sense, because I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do long term. I actually got paid to write my very first guest post for another blog, which was surprising. I didn't expect that. Oftentimes guest posts are unpaid. But when I did get paid, a little light bulb went off for me. And I said, wow, if I can replicate this process enough times, I can earn a living. And so from that point on, I sought clients. And I'm trying to think. I may have written an unpaid guest post or two, like a small handful of them, because I wanted to get a link on a particular site, or because I wanted to help a friend or something like that. But in general, I haven't done a whole lot of unpaid work.
Yes. And so do you advise people do unpaid work to get themselves known, or, do you advise them to steer away from that?
I don't advise doing unpaid work for long. If you're brand new, like you don't have anything published or you don't have anything in your portfolio, maybe you do 1 or 2 small projects pro bono to get a testimonial, to get a link, to get something in exchange where you can demonstrate that you've provided your services to someone else. But I wouldn't stay there for very long, certainly. I mean, even if it takes a while to get up to the dollar amount that you want to make for your services, you should start requiring payment sooner rather than later.
Yeah. So should people be working by the hour, or should they be working at a set price?
I think it depends. When you take virtual assistants, for example, oftentimes they charge by hour. They may have like a retainer package or something like that they offer. But for me as a writer, I do not charge by hour, because that would be shooting myself in the foot. If I'm highly efficient and I create this wonderful blog article, but it only took me an hour, I mean, I'm like shooting myself in the foot, potentially, because they're deriving more value than what they're paying me for that hour. So for writers, I would advise looking at a per word or per project pricing structure.
Yep. So I guess being a bit so the per word, what is the average going rate in US dollars for that at the moment?
Geez, it's all over the map, depending on the website that's hiring you. Like smaller websites are going to have like no budget versus a major corporation. The type of content plays a role, the experience of the writer, the industry. I mean, you can go, there are content mills out there that'll pay you like 1 or 2 cents per word. And then you have some industries for like, large companies that will pay you $1 a word. And everything in between. So there are so many variables, it's tough to quote an average.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was just interested to find that out, because I wouldn't know. I mean, I would just charge so much per article. I wouldn't, depending on how many words, I suppose. But yeah, I would think I would just charge per article, just because that's what I would do.
That's usually what I do. I usually say, okay, from X number of words to X number of words, it's X. There are ranges built in, because obviously you don't want to say, okay, every article I write is $200, for example, and then one article is 500 words, so you make quite a good amount of money there, and the other article is 2,000 words, and you're not making such great money there. So
no. Yeah, that's probably a very good point. Not that I write a lot of articles, of course, but never mind. So, have you got any sort of wise words to give our audience?
if you're considering going freelance or becoming self-employed, just do it. Just start, because you're never going to feel ready. There's always going to be another webinar, blog post, podcast episode, etc., that you feel like you need to listen to before you're really ready to do it. But you're never going to have all the information. It's not possible. So you have to learn by doing. So just get out there and start and fail and learn from it and rebuild. And it's an iterative process. Every time you level up in some way, you're going to have to, experience some sort of setback so that you can learn from it. That's just growth. So you cannot have business success without actually putting your first foot forward.
Yeah, there are very wise words. In fact, it's hard to get that mindset to say, and get over that fear of putting the toes in the water first. It's like going swimming. You want to know how cold the water is before you jump in.
Yeah, you can dip your toe, certainly, and I think that's what starting a freelance business on the side of a full-time income is. Because you're testing the waters, and if freelancing doesn't work out for you, that's okay. You still have an income to support you and your family. Me, on the other hand, I said, oh, I have a few bucks in the bank, and I dived headlong. And fortunately, things worked out. But if you're feeling, a little bit more cautious, certainly it's okay to build things slowly on the side.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you have a podcast or a book or something that you would like to promote or share with us?
Sure. I do have a podcast. It's called In a Freelance Minute, and it's available on my website at beforeyougofreelance.com. And it's what I call a micro podcast. The episodes are 2 to 3 minutes long. It's a short, snappy little jolt of information and inspiration about different freelancing related topics, because I know people are busy. So I hope that they can just get a quick little soundbite that maybe helps them on their journey.
All right. Well, I will make sure to put that the link at the bottom of all of the places where this is available. It's been lovely talking to you, Laura, and I'm sure that we'll have further discussions maybe later on in the year. That would be wonderful, and I would look forward to that.
Yeah, likewise. I definitely have enjoyed our conversation and look forward to continuing it down the road.
Yeah, lovely, Laura. Thank you. Enjoy your evening, and I'll let you go and have your dinner.
All right. Thank you, Rosie. Take care. I'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.